Hi, this is Ryan with Automatic Comics, and up next we've got damage boxes, some Silver and Bronze Age keys, and then I'm going to talk about some spec books related to some of these that I think would be good to pick up right now. Stay tuned. Alright, so before we get started, please remember to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. So I've got 3 boxes that I'm going to be unboxing today, and what I thought would be kind of fun, something a little extra to do with this, is that I also thought I'd talk about, some of the other books around these that you could also pick up in kind of like a speculation or spec capacity for potentially some future, I think it's all Marvel, so some future Marvel stuff that's coming out. And I tend to generally look for things like first appearances, but there's also other good options when those books start getting really expensive with going for second appearances or just some other alternatives related to those books. So let's get into this. Now, there should be 2 Bronze Age key books and 1 Silver Age book. Now, this first one isn't the one that got damaged. The other 2 have enough damage on them that makes me a little concerned, with slabs and everything. So I'm gonna get into this one. Alright, so this is kind of cool packaging. I've never seen this before, and I've opened a lot of boxes, and so it's like almost like a noodle, like one of those like pool noodles. Actually, I think that's what it is, just cut up into pieces to protect this book. So I don't know, it's an interesting way to go. I mean, I would say there is no way this thing is getting damaged with this. So that's a new one, but that's yeah, I like it. I mean, I don't want to have to buy a pool noodle every time I ship a book and cut it up, but I guess if you've got one around and you don't want it anymore, I mean, not a bad choice. So this is the first time I've had a copy of this book, and it is Marvel Premiere number 15. And so this is the first appearance of Iron Fist, and it is a great first appearance cover, right on the front, kicking a guy or punching a guy in the face. So great first appearance cover. And this book is, I mean, to me, it is shockingly affordable. I mean, you could go for a second appearance. I mean, it gets a little pricey, once you get up into like really high grades, 9.8 or 9.6, but some nice mid-grade, mid to upper grade copies, like in the 7.0, 8.0 range. I mean, it is a very affordable book, and I would definitely recommend picking it up. Now, if you want to go into issue his second appearance, which is Marvel Premiere 16, which I'll plug a picture of, over there. That one, I mean, is extremely affordable. A 9.8 you can get for around $350. A 9.6 you can get for around $150. And so, second appearance in that book, real high grades. You can get some great copies for a good price. I can't remember exactly what I paid for this one. It might have been around $300, something like that, or could have been less than that. I don't remember. I'll go and check, and I'll plug something in somewhere. And but I think this is a great book to get because the series was not received well on Netflix, but they're already talking about bringing this character back, and so with something with the MCU, likely with Luke Cage. And so this is one of the books that I really wanted to talk about, some different options that you have for books to pick up with this. Now, I mean, for Iron Fist, I would go for this book, especially since it is really so affordable, in these grades. But you do have some other options for some key books that you might want to pick up along with this. Now, one of them is, since we're talking, so when we talk about Power Man, that's Luke Cage. And so Luke Cage had a run that went from issues 1 through 16, and then it changed to the name to Power Man at issue 17, and that ran through to issue number 49, and then on issue 50 it changed to Power Man and Iron Fist. And so that could be a good kind of like speculation book to pick up. It's really not very expensive. You know, I'll plug a picture in up here, and maybe a little pricing information on it. And but what we've got here though is the first appearance of Luke Cage. So this is Luke Cage, Hero for Hire #1. And again, this is another one that is, I think, extremely underpriced for what it is, being this kind of big first appearance. And so, again, it gets really pricey in high grades, but you can get some nice mid-grade copies, in the 5s, 6s for very affordable, or that are very affordable, a couple $100, $200-300, something like that. And so, if there's anything, and I've talked about this a little bit before, when we're talking about kind of like speculation market type stuff, the comic book community has relatively short memory. And I know I've heard TiVo talk about this on Lords of the Long Box too. It's like until you see that character again on TV or on the big screen, it's like it's out of people's minds, and they forget about it. And so I would recommend picking up, if you can, this book and this book. But then some other ones that you could also pick up would be, like I said, Power Man and Iron Fist #50 is a good one. And then you've got this book here, which is a big key in the Iron Fist run, which is Iron Fist #14, which is the first appearance of Sabertooth. And what, I don't know, what you may not realize is that Sabertooth was a pretty consistent foe of these two guys. And so his first appearance obviously here is an amazing cover. It's a very popular book, and it is quite expensive. 9/8 is going to run you $3,500. But when you get down into lower grades, about a 2.5 to a 5.5, the pricing is really flat. And so what I would recommend doing is try getting the higher end of that grade range. So for a 2.5 to a 5.5, what I mean the pricing is flat, I mean there isn't a lot. It's very compressed. There isn't a lot of change in the price across those grades. And so a 5.5 might run you, $225 to $250, and a 2.5 is going to run you $150. And so, for that $100, $75 to $100, you can move up 3 full grades. Go for that, that better one. That's the one that's going to be, I think, will retain its value a little better. It's a little easier to sell to someone else if you want to, because it'll present better. But yeah, so that's a good book to pick up. But then in the Power Man to Iron Fist run, you have the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th appearances of Sabertooth. And so he appears in issue 66, put a picture here. That's his 2nd appearance. Issue 78, again right here, his 3rd appearance, and issue 84, again right here, which is his 4th appearance. And those books are extremely affordable. And I would aim for high grades for those because of how affordable they are, 9.6, 9.8 if you can. So like issue 66, a 9.8 is $200, 78, so his 3rd appearance is about $100, and 84 is his 4th appearance is about $80 to $100. So for not a real big investment, you can get early appearance of one of the more popular villains in the kind of Marvel universe, especially when you tie that character to Wolverine. And if you see him fighting Wolverine in the future sometime, I mean, those books will all just go even more crazy than they already are. So those are some kind of like quick recommendations I have for kind of the Iron Fist and Power Man kind of spec books that you could go for. One other one with the 2nd appearance of Luke Cage is issue #2 of Hero for Hire, and that one is also very affordable, $250 to $350 for the kind of like 9.6 to 9.8 range. And so again, those 2nd appearances, the prices really drop a lot, and so I would aim for higher grade copies of those books. So let's get into this next book here, or next package here. Now this one was a little accordioned when it came in, so pretty crunched in the corners, and like a tear in the box down here. And when you see what's in here, you will see why I was a little concerned about this. So let's get into this one too. All right, so there was, packing peanuts and some bubble wrap. I mean, okay packaging, but not the best. Now, a lot of times when I see compressed boxes like that, what it generally means is that the person probably should have put more packaging in. Now, obviously, there are some times when these boxes just get beat up when they're in going through the shipping process. So it's not always on the shipper or the seller. But what I tend to find is that especially these priority boxes, they're pretty thin cardboard, and so they do need some reinforcement behind them, and that's why I tend to kind of just fill in all that extra space with something, whether that's bubble wrap, packing peanuts, newspaper, whatever it is, just to kind of give it a little more structure behind it, and I find that tends to support the box better. So just something, if you're shipping these, I'd recommend filling in that extra space. It costs the same if you're doing a medium flat rate, and it costs the same up to 2 pounds if you're using any other type of box. And so you can put in a lot of newspaper to get up to that, that 2 pounds. But the book that's in here, and this is the first copy of this book I've ever had. Now, I mentioned this one before, in that it's not really my favorite cover, but it is an awesome book. And this is Amazing Spider-Man #4. And this is the first appearance of Sandman in a 4.5, and it is I thought it was a really nice presenting copy. I mean, the 4s is a good, I feel like that's a pretty nice place to be for these early Spider-Man keys. You're never really gonna have any chunks out of the cover. Relatively minimal creasing. You can definitely have things like subscription creases, and you can have some creasing, but this one, I mean, there really isn't. There's a little chipping on the sides. I would say it looks like it's been pressed. You can kind of see some little creasing here that looks like it's been flattened out. So I'd say it's been pressed and all that, but I mean, a great book. One of Spider-Man's earliest villains. And now with this book here, Spider-Man #4, it's not a cheap book in any grade. It's going to cost, even in really low grades, you'll be lucky to get under $1,000 for this book in almost any grade. So one of the books that is very affordable that I would recommend kind of shifting over to is one that I've shown in a prior unboxing, and that's Strange Tales #115. And this is his second appearance, and I like this cover more than this cover. That's what I mentioned the other one. You've still got Spider-Man's face, on the cover there. You've got Human Torch, and I think it's I don't know, it's something about the panels. I don't really care for the panel look on the cover of a comic. So you get this nice big, full cover fight between the Human Torch and Sandman. So I think this is a great book to pick up as an alternative, and like I said, very affordable. I think 5.5, somewhere in the $300 range, something like that. And so and it's an old book, 1963. So you'll find plenty of lower grade copies. So you can definitely get it for cheaper than that. Now, SpiderMan Spec has been crazy hot lately, and a big part of that is that this next Spider-Man movie just seems to be bringing all kinds of villains back, as well as other versions of Spider-Man. And with all the villains that are coming in, there's definitely talk of the Sinister Six showing up. And so Sinister Six, their first appearance is Amazing Spider-Man Annual #1, and this is just, it is one of the best Spider-Man covers, because you've got him and all 6 villains right out on the front. You've got Electro and Vulture, Kraven, Doc Ock, Sandman, and Mysterio. And so, just a great cover. The only, big villain of that time I'd say that's really missing is Green Goblin. And so, awesome cover. And it is very expensive and has been getting really hot lately. Even the low grade, 1.0, you're probably going to be spending around $500 now. But of these characters, all of them are extremely expensive to get their first appearances. You've got Vulture is issue number 2, Electro is issue number 9, Doc Ock is number 3, Sandman is number 4, Kraven is 15, and Mysterio is 13. Now the one that I would probably target right now is Mysterio. And so, because if we think that we're going to be seeing the Sinister Six, it means they're all going to be coming back. And everybody thinks, after that last Spider-Man movie, that Mysterio is dead. But with what we're seeing with, like WandaVision, spoiler. So what we're seeing with WandaVision was that that Quicksilver was brought back, who was also dead. And so just because someone is dead does not necessarily mean that they're not coming back. And when we're talking about things like the multiverse, bringing back these characters is not completely out of the question. And so that is one that across all grades has really dropped in price a ton since that movie. And so since Spider-Man 2. And so I would definitely look for that book as one to try to pick up. Now, another early Spider-Man key that you could also go for, I don't have a copy of it here, but I'll plug in a picture up here of it, is the second appearance of the Vulture. That's Amazing Spider-Man number 7. And it's another one that is surprisingly affordable for being such an early key in the Spider-Man run. And so that's one that I would also recommend, kind of looking for. Now, the final box is the one that took the most damage. So you can see here, it's like someone punched the box. I'm guessing it hit a corner on something, and it just, again, there's nothing really in here, and that's what I'm speaking to about with this other one too. If you fill this space in, you'll often get a little more rigidity on these boxes, and they'll survive hits like that a little better. But yeah, let's get into this one. Okay, now this is the first time I've had this book as well, and I don't think there's really any spec around this one, so I don't really have anything so much to talk about with that. I just think it's a cool book. So this is Conan the Barbarian number 23, and now on here it's marked as the first appearance of Red Sonja, but it is often considered to be the first cameo appearance, and I know that cameo and first full and all that tends to be a very touchy subject for a lot of people. It is definitely the more valuable of the two books between this one and issue 24, which I'll plug a picture of up here. So issue 24 is her first cover appearance, and she's right out on the cover of issue 24. It is a great cover for Red Sonja, but they're both great books. They are both, again, very affordable and some pretty high grades. I mean, it's a Bronze Age book. It's 1973. A 9.8 of this book is going to run you about $2,000, $2,200. A 9.8 of issue 24 is going to run you around, $1,400, $1,500. But it drops very quickly after that. 9.6s around $500 for this one, $400 for the other one, then drops down to about $300, and then it's kind of flat for a few grades around the $150 to $200 range. But you can get some, in the 8.0, 9.0 range for $100 to $200, and so for a great first appearance like this, I think that's a great book to try to pick up. Now, part of the challenge with like Spec or whatever with this book is that the rights to these characters are not owned by Disney and Marvel for movie purposes, for show purposes, and so it's less likely that you're going to see them in that type of universe, and it seems very unlikely that they're going to get those characters back at least anytime soon. So not really anything for Spec. It's just Red Sonja is an extremely popular character, often because of how she is drawn, and so she's. But her first appearance here, first cover appearance in issue 24, and arguably one of them may be the cameo, one may be the first full. You know, you make your choice. But the market seems to have decided that 23 is the most valuable of the two. So thanks for watching. You know, I felt I had some cool books here to show, and some, you know, speculation type alternatives maybe to go with these if you don't necessarily want to pick up these books specifically. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this, and I will film some more videos when I get some more books in. Thanks again.